Hey internet friends! Today I'm going to talk about macros. If you've been following me on social media for any amount of time, you probably know that I track macros or do IIFYM if it fits your macros. It's also known as flexible dieting. Why do I do this? Because it's not a diet, it's just a way of tracking what you eat so you can eat towards your goals. So there's no food restrictions, you can eat what you want as long as you eat your target amount of protein, carbs and fats daily. Now this number can change depending on your goals, your current weight and other variables. Why is this so effective? Because what you measure you can manage. With tracking macros, you're going to raise awareness about what you're actually eating. Yes, sometimes it's a little bit inconvenient to track what you eat, but if you're stopping to think, can I track this before you eat it? And sometimes when you track things before you eat, you're like, well, that has way more calories and fat and not many good nutrients in it. So I don't think I'm going to eat it. And then you can choose to make a better choice because you're like, well, I can eat this or I can have this, which is healthier and makes me feel better and it's way less calories, so I can eat more food later. And I like eating more food later, so I usually do that. So tracking macros, it's hard at the start, it's uncomfortable, it's new, it's inconvenient. The more you do it, the easier it gets, the more convenient it gets. And over time, you're just going to become a pro and it's going to be effortless. Not 100% effortless, but it's going to be very, very easy compared to other options because it's not a set meal plan. You can adjust things according to your schedule. If you eat something that wasn't on plan, you can just track it and then you can adjust your macros for the rest of the day to fit, or for the next day if that was your last meal. I'm like, okay, that's alright, I can just lower my carbs or fats the next day and then it'll all balance out. This is really good to create a positive mindset in dieters, that they're always in control and they always have an option. So a lot of people used to say to me, because they knew that I was a strength and nutrition coach, Del, can I eat this? Can I eat this? Is this healthy? Is this meal okay? And what I would say to them is, it depends. And I know that's a really frustrating answer, but usually the answer is, it depends. It depends whether, on your whole diet. So there's no good or bad foods, it's just good or bad diets. Now the foods that are high in sugar and fat are more hyper palatable, so they're really tasty and they trigger that reward response. So we're more likely to overeat something if it's high in carbs and fat. So people tend to blame sugar, but it's not usually sugar, it's usually a combination of carbs and fat. So donuts, pizza, anything like that. You can have these things in your diet, but if you know that you can't just have one serve or you can't fit it into your macros, either make a healthier version or just save it for a sometimes food. So the foods you want to eat every day when you're tracking macros are things that are easy to track. So things with barcodes are really easy to track, or single ingredient foods like fruits and vegetables. With my veggies, I just get frozen vegetables a lot of the time, and that has a barcode on that I can just scan, so I can have frozen vegetables with my meals. If I'm super busy, this is a really easy way to have a filling food that helps me with my goals. Now, tracking macros isn't for everyone, but I put all my clients, for the first 2 weeks, I get them to track really strictly on tracking macros, and what this does, it raises awareness and mindfulness around food, which is super, super important. Most people that overeat don't even realize how much they're eating because they're eating foods that they don't seem like they have a lot of calories in them. Now, even if you think that you're doing things 100% right, you can still be overeating, because sometimes we just have kind of food amnesia. My boyfriend does this. He's not overweight, but he'll be like, I haven't eaten today. And I'm like, but you just ate a bar of chocolate. You just ate this. You just ate this. So a lot of us do this. And, it's nothing to feel upset about. It's nothing to feel guilty about. But if you track everything before you eat it, then you don't have food amnesia. And you'll be able to get to your goal faster because you won't be sort of playing games with yourself and lying to yourself. And anyone that diets, it's like kind of your brain tries to trick you and tell you that you're not eating enough. Which, when you're dieting because you are trying to eat at a deficit, your body is going to try and tell you to eat more. So if you're tracking, you know, yes, I'm on track. You don't have to be like, did I eat enough today? Did I eat too much? It takes all the questions out of it. That's why I love it. But when I say it's not for everyone, there is another option. So there's macros and there's habits. What I like to do with people that if tracking macros hasn't worked for them, if it overwhelms them, if they just don't want to do it, I always give my clients a choice, because, you know, this isn't a dictatorship. You should always have a choice and choose something that works for you. So the other thing that you can do works, you can use it in combination with tracking macros, but it's habits. So what I do with habits is I get my client's assessment and I say, okay, this is what you need to work on to help decrease hunger, to help with your goals. So maybe they're not eating enough fruit and vegetables, so we put a strategy in place to make sure that they do. Maybe they're not sleeping enough, which is driving up hunger and hurting their insulin sensitivity and their energy. So I'll put a habit in place, strategies in place that they can use to improve their sleep duration or quality, or both. Other things that I like to do is make sure that they're getting enough quality protein and enough amount of protein each meal, which helps with your hunger hormones and building lean muscle, maintaining lean muscle. Little habits like this, you can build them over time. If you're someone that drinks a lot of juice or soda or high calorie drinks, we can switch those out for lower calorie or no calorie drinks or water. And that is something, if you do that over time, even if you only have one of those drinks every now and again, over a year, that those calories add up. And if you create a habit that, this is what I do, I'll never have a sugar version of a soft drink. I hear some people say, oh, if you have it, you might as well have the sugar version. And that mindset is what gets you into trouble, because you know what, over time, those calories add up. And the easiest way is switching soda to diet soda. If you're someone that drinks that, or if you have juice, just have a calorie-free drink instead. Or if you're adding stuff to your coffee like milk and sugar, then over time that adds up. So finding little ways, little switches that can make it feel like you're still almost doing the same thing, but little habits that, okay, I always do this, become the kind of person that doesn't have high calorie drinks, that doesn't eat really high fat, hyperpalatable foods regularly, that you'll have a healthier version or you'll have a smaller portion size. Choose the habits based on an assessment of your current habits. So replace poor habits with better ones. And if you're not doing macros but you're doing the habits over time consistently, they just quickly add up to huge results. So like I said, you can do just macros or just habits, or you can do a combination, but I recommend everyone try macros for a little bit, 2 to 4 weeks, and this really raises your awareness, and then it empowers you for life to know that you always have a choice, that you don't have to eat less and less. I get people eating as much as they can while still losing weight, so a small deficit, which means more energy, better mood, more like just better results in the gym. It's not about eating less and less. That's a huge mistake that most people make. They just try to go as low as they can straight away. They go to 1,400 calories, 1,300, 1,200, and it's too low, and their body just fights them. Their mood suffers. They become grumpy. They just don't have the energy to keep going. So make sure you do it in a smart way. If tracking macros hasn't worked for you, but you've done that really bad mistake of going really low too soon, then, or if you haven't been able to stick to it, I do have different strategies in my coaching programs that help you either stick to it or help you know how much you should be eating and when you should adjust. So within those strategies, those 2 methods, there's different strategies to help you over time. Sometimes both methods, sometimes they're going to be uncomfortable, but you have to choose your inconvenience. So sometimes it's inconvenient to stick to a meal plan, but that's what works for you. it's inconvenient to track macros, but that's what works for you. You can choose the inconvenience of doing this now, doing a little bit of extra effort, or you can choose the inconvenience of being out of shape, not making progress, and that's a lot more uncomfortable. Realize that inconvenience now and doing something that you maybe don't want to do is going to result in very positive things later. So tie your motivation to that discomfort. Otherwise, you're going to not make progress and you're going to feel stuck for a very long time. Hopefully this has helped you to decide whether to start macros or start habits. If you need help, you can join my Facebook group. I'll link it below.